Terrifying discoveries, eerie sightings, and unexplainable moments. This video is filled with incredible finds that will leave you stunned.
This was a unique and unusual discovery because a Tyrannosaur skeleton with prey items preserved inside the stomach region had never been found before.
So if you think nothing can surprise you, you'd better stay to watch the terrifying world of archaeology that has everyone on the edge. In January 2022, a giant 180-million-year-old sea creature was discovered in the UK. Found in Rutland, this massive fossil is the largest and most complete ichthyosaur ever found in Britain. It's a creature that looks like a dolphin, but was a marine reptile living with dinosaurs. This particular one is nearly 33 feet long, with a skull that weighs a ton. For archaeologists, it was a surprising find, especially since it's the first of its kind in Britain. The fossil is now being carefully preserved, and it'll take about a year to fully treat them. World's best preserved discovery. Back in 2011, something incredible happened in northern Alberta. A heavy equipment operator at the Millennium Mine discovered some strange colored rock with unusual patterns. When he took a closer look, he realized it wasn't just any rock. It was fossilized skin from an armored nodosaur, a type of ankylosaur. This wasn't just any fossil either. The fossil, still resembling a sleeping dragon, was likely an 18-foot-long, 3,000-pound creature that died near a river, then floated out to sea before sinking and fossilizing. And guess what? Later on, it turned out to be one of the best preserved dinosaur specimens ever found in Alberta. Cave giants.
Holy shit. What's his face?
Caves are like time capsules, hiding secrets that continue to amaze scientists, like this incredible discovery, which might just prove that giants were real. While exploring a remote cave, a group of adventurers came across some structures that were anything but ordinary. As they entered the cave, they found strange carvings on the walls, one of which looked eerily like the face of a giant. This mysterious finding made netizens question, did giants once roam the earth in ancient times? The carvings are enough to make anyone wonder if there's more truth to the legend than we ever imagined.
Oh my goodness.
He's guardian. He's a giant.
Yeah.
Peruvian mummy. Finding a mummy is always fascinating, but this one's a whole different level of mystery. In Peru, archaeologists unearthed a male mummy bound tightly with ropes and curled up in a fetal position. His hands covered most of his face, giving an eerie impression as if he was hiding. While we may never know exactly how he ended up this way, experts believe he might have faced a shameful end, which could explain the face-covering gesture. This ancient mystery dates back over 800 years, which made this discovery more unique. The last meal.
Was discovered by a technician working here at the museum, Mr. Darren Tanky, and it's...
In Alberta, researchers uncovered a fossilized young Tyrannosaur with a rare surprise. Its last meal perfectly preserved in its stomach. This Gorgosaurus, a smaller cousin of the T-Rex, died young between 5 and 7 years old and weighed about 738 pounds. But what's incredible is what was in its stomach, 2 hind legs from smaller, bird-like dinosaurs. So this is how young tyrannosaurs fed differently than adults. While adult tyrannosaurs devoured larger prey, this young one seemed to have been a picky eater, honing in on smaller, precise meals.
This was a unique and unusual discovery because a Tyrannosaur skeleton with prey items preserved inside the stomach region had never been found before.
Pompeii curse. Frozen in time since 79 AD, 2 figures were found in Pompeii looking almost untouched by centuries. Archaeologists uncovered these 2 individuals, preserved so perfectly they could even identify their ages and clothing details. Pompeii itself met its end when Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying the city under thick ash in mere moments. These 2, like everyone else there, got caught in the catastrophic wave, forever sealed in a moment that vividly tells the story of their final moments. frozen in a time capsule of history. Extraterrestrial mummy. Some finds are fascinating, but this one? Well, it's on another level. Researchers out looking for fossils ended up stumbling upon a skeleton that looked anything but normal. Seriously, this thing had all the markings of something out of this world. I mean, look at its elongated skull, bizarre posture, the kind that no known creature has. After seeing the footage, I'm convinced we're looking at actual alien remains here. It's like something straight out of some fictional movie, only this time, it's right in front of us. Mummified croc.
Wonderful experience to get an opportunity to work on a 12-foot, 4-meter crocodile.
Mummies are already enough to give us chills, but a mummified croc? Now that's taking fear to a whole new level. In the hot sands near the Nile, archaeologists came across mummified crocodiles, but not the type you'd expect in ancient tombs. These weren't preserved by people. Nature did the work itself. Among the 10 relics, 5 were only skulls, while the others were complete, golden, dried bodies, standing eerily still, as if guarding their territory. Meanwhile, across the globe in Australia, a shocking discovery surfaced. A 95-million-year-old crocodile fossil named Confractosuchus saurochtonos. This fierce predator turned our ideas of crocodile evolution upside down, leaving even researchers in surprise.
So we used SEM scanning to figure out what sort of botanical material and linens.
Largest dinosaur ever. In 2012, researchers in Argentina discovered dinosaur remains that could change everything we know about the biggest creatures to ever walk the earth. A team of paleontologists believes they may have uncovered a Tyrannosaur larger than Argentinosaurus, the largest known dinosaur. This discovery includes 24 massive vertebrae from the dinosaur's tail, along with parts of its pelvis and pectoral girdle. These bones suggest a giant even bigger than the 36.5-meter-long Argentinosaurus, which weighed up to 100 tons. However, to confirm this, researchers are waiting to find leg bones, which will help estimate the creature's true size and weight. Massive skull.
Sort of human-like, only much bigger and a little stranger. Next thing you know, you have a Cyclops.
While digging to plant crops in the Midwest, farmhands came across something that would leave them speechless. Their shovel hit something hard, and as they dug deeper, they uncovered a massive skull with a strange hole in the middle of its forehead. It wasn't long before experts realized they had found the remains of a creature unlike anything known to man, possibly a Cyclops, one of the giants said to have roamed the earth. Measuring 9 feet tall and weighing 6 tons, the skull surprised scientists. Some speculated it could be a rare condition called cyclopia, but to this day, there is no accurate answer. Petrified giant. Some people, while traveling down the road of Iran, came across something unbelievable. On the hills nearby, a huge figure was seen, with its eyes seemingly staring right at them. Travelers who witnessed it were convinced they'd found a petrified giant. When they shared the footage online, people began guessing. Some argued it was just a rock carving, but plenty of others leaned towards the giant theory. After watching, I'm convinced too. So it means giants are all real. Dino truth. Guys, what if dinosaurs weren't just part of the distant past? Back in the 1980s, a group of explorers claimed they found and even captured a dinosaur. Of course, they were ridiculed at the time. But years later, a shocking clip surfaced, showing the group standing next to a dinosaur that was very much alive and even moving. Some believe this dinosaur was hidden away in a secret cave, kept in the dark for so long that it could barely move when exposed to sunlight. There are even whispers that it could still be lurking deep in tunnels. Curious? Well, the adventure is there if you want to find out. Pets of the pharaoh.
It probably started out quite gently with pet mummies, because people who loved their pets wanted the pets with them in their afterlife.
Oh my goodness. Ever thought about keeping your pets forever? Well, a farmer recently discovered some surprisingly mummified animals. I know, you're probably thinking, why on earth would anyone mummify their beloved pets? Well, guess what? The ancient Egyptians did this. But why, you ask? Let me explain. It turns out ancient Egypt wasn't the only place that valued pets. Across the world, people cherished their animal companions. But what sets Egypt apart is how they honored their pets after death. Mummified animals have been found in pet cemeteries and ritual sites, sometimes even buried with their owners. These animals, especially the sacred ones, were believed to be living symbols of the gods, holding deep religious significance.
And those are really cool because the ancient Egyptians believed that you can take everything with you.
Alien skull. Take a look at this strange skull that was found by a boy near a cave entrance in Peru. At first, people thought it was just a prank by a local craftsman, but there's something odd about it. The carvings on the skull seem to tell a story. Right in the center, above the eyebrows, there's a third eye, a symbol mentioned in Buddhist teachings. This could mean the skull is centuries old. But here's something more strange. At the bottom, it seems almost petrified, as if it had turned to stone. Some locals even think it could belong to an ancient, superior race. Weird, isn't it? Neanderthal remains. Archaeologists in Italy have just uncovered the remains of 9 Neanderthals at a cave site near Rome, a discovery with a history as old as 100,000 years. Found in Grotta Guattari, a prehistoric cave just steps from the Tyrrhenian Sea, these remains tell a fascinating story of early humans. 8 of these Neanderthals date back around 50,000 to 68,000 years, while one could be nearly 100,000 years old. Along with 2 Neanderthals previously found at this site, Grotta Guattari has now become one of the world's most important windows into Neanderthal history. Preserved Goblin. Ever wondered if goblins are real? Well, get ready for this. Researchers found a carcass so creepy, it looked like something straight out of a Goblin story. When the footage went online, people couldn't believe their eyes. Some were sure it was a goblin, while others thought it looked more like a werewolf. The debate, however, continued with no one agreeing on what it actually was. Personally, I'm leaning towards the idea that it's a goblin carcass. What do you guys think it is? Pit full of surprises. In the fall of 2011, archaeologists made a chilling discovery in the ancient palace of Avaris, Egypt. While digging near the throne room, they discovered the remains of 16 hands. 16. These hands were buried in 4 separate graves, with 2 pits holding 1 hand each, and the other 2 containing the remaining 14. And there's something even more bizarre. The hands were unusually large, and all the bones date back about 3,600 years, suggesting they were part of the same ceremony. Think these hands might have been trophies, possibly from a ritual where soldiers got gold for each enemy hand they claimed. But who did these hands belong to, Hyksos or Egyptians? So far, there are no answers. Bone-chilling labyrinth.
We stopped buried corpses in 1780, and in 1785, we began to transport bones.
Beneath the lively streets of Paris lies a hidden, spooky world, the Catacombs. What were once quarries, these dark tunnels became home to millions of remains in the 18th century. Overcrowded cemeteries led to the bones being moved underground, creating an eerie, final resting place. As you wander through these twisting paths, you'll be surrounded by walls made of neatly arranged bones, forming haunting patterns that make the air feel heavier with history. It's a place that draws adventurers and thrill seekers. So, would you dare to step into this chilling maze? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you explore the catacombs? Sardinia giants.
The farmer started digging around it, brushing away the mud, pulled it out, and there was this giant stone head gazing back at him.
In 1974, while working in his field in Monte Prama, Sardinia, a farmer's plow struck something unexpected, something much harder than a rock. After digging, he uncovered a massive stone head with gleaming black eyes, staring back at him. This discovery sparked a large-scale excavation, and soon, archaeologists uncovered over 5,000 1,000 pieces of colossal statues.
Consequently, archaeologists entered the area, and through the late 70s, they dug and they found over 5,000 fragments of these giant statues.
These statues, some standing 9 feet tall, depicted warriors, archers, and boxers, and became known as the Giants of Monte Prama. Some believe these monumental figures could be evidence of ancient giants that once roamed Sardinia. Irish vampire mystery.
Visually, it's quite striking, particularly the legs, the way they've been twisted and bent back up around the stone. It's really disturbing, and it's also shocking as well.
In the summer of 2007, archaeologists digging in Kilteash in Ireland made a chilling discovery. 2 skeletons with large stones lodged in their jaws, along with a third body pinned down by a boulder around its legs. These weren't ordinary burials. Unlike the others, these bodies appear to have been intentionally restrained, possibly to keep them from rising. Experts believe the skeletons were treated as revenants, individuals feared to return and haunt the living. Whether these people were outcasts, suspected of dark practices, or simply feared by their community, their graves show medieval beliefs about life and afterlife. Mexican discovery. In July of 1944, Waldemar Julesrud, a 69-year-old German archaeologist, was riding his horse near Acámbaro, Mexico, when something caught his eye. Half buried in the mud, he discovered strange ceramic figurines sticking out from the earth. He returned over the next 7 years, uncovering a staggering 33,000 figurines from shallow pits in the area. These figurines came in various shapes and sizes, including those resembling dinosaurs and mythical creatures. This mysterious collection, known as the Chupicuaro figurines, is believed to be tied to the ancient and enigmatic Chupicuaro culture, leaving researchers baffled and searching for answers. Book of the Departed.
It's easy to see a variety of ways in which the Book of the Dead and Egyptian culture have influenced the Bible.
Now, get ready for a mind-blowing discovery. A remarkably well-preserved copy of the Book of the Departed has just been unearthed in Egypt. This scroll stretches an incredible 42 feet and was found alongside ancient ornaments, amulets, and decorations from the New Kingdom era of the pharaohs. See, this isn't just any text. It holds key insights into ancient Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife. Experts say the discovery adds layers to our understanding, as each new translation changes what we know. Soon, you'll be able to see it for yourself at the Grand Egyptian Museum, though the scroll wasn't the only treasure tucked into those burial chambers.
The things that are prohibited by the Ten Commandments do appear in the Book of the Dead.
Gate of Hell. While digging deep into the earth, the Chinese miners searching for diamonds and gold in Africa encountered something they never expected. Eerie, bone-chilling howls. Fearing the worst, they immediately fled, leaving the site behind. But guys, what caused those unsettling sounds? Some say it could be the trapped voices of fallen angels. Others believe it might be restless spirits yearning to break free. With everyone quickly abandoning the area, the mystery remains unsolved. Honestly, I'm not sure I'd want to find out either. Some things are better left buried. Whale Lake. And now comes a strange twist from the desert. Out in the dry Amarok mining site, where you would expect nothing but sand and rock, sits the unexpected Whale Lake, and just below its northern end lies a hidden treasure that's anything but ordinary. Drilling has shown that a rich deposit, known as Whale Tail, stretches a whole 1.2 kilometers and reaches over 350 meters deep. A massive mineral vein hiding under a lake in the middle of the desert. This discovery doesn't just make the desert interesting, but turns this Whale Lake into one of the most incredible finds for miles around. Woolly mammoth. Some miners were digging near Eureka Creek when their loader hit something unusual, and it was a truly remarkable discovery. A nearly perfectly mummified baby woolly mammoth, about 30,000 years old. found in the Klondike goldfields of Canada's Yukon. It was 4.5 feet long and had much of its hair and skin intact. That's not all, but this is the most complete mummified mammoth ever found in North America. Named as a big baby animal, the calf is believed to be around 1 month old at the time it was preserved. Scientists claim that the calf was female, much like the famous 42,000-year-old mammoth, Lyuba, found in Siberia. 4,300-year-old mummy. In a thrilling discovery near Cairo, archaeologists uncovered what might be Egypt's oldest mummy, a stunning 4,300-year-old named Hekasheps, found at the bottom of a 49-foot shaft near Saqqara's Step Pyramid. The team had been digging through an ancient cemetery from way back in the 25th century BC, when they cracked open a sarcophagus and found Hekashepes inside, perfectly preserved and even wrapped in layers of gold. The dig leader, a former minister of antiquities, said this might be the most complete mummy ever found in Egypt. And here's the kicker: this wasn't the only incredible discovery at the Gisr el-Mudir site. Terrifying discovery ever. Archaeologists just discovered something truly chilling. And honestly, it's left me rattled too. Check it out first. While digging through the desert sands, they found this ancient snakeskin. But this wasn't just any old shed skin. It was covered in ominous symbols that seemed to scream dark magic. The eerie markings, preserved for over 6,000 years, were etched along every inch, enough to haunt their dreams for sure. Now tell me, guys, what could possibly be the purpose behind burying something like this? One thing's for sure: whatever the reason, it's probably not something you would want to mess with. Mummified cats.
The priests in this time mummified the cats by millions.
Archaeologists deep in Egypt's desert discovered a tomb filled, not with treasures, but something eerier. A chaotic mess of mummified cats, bones, and dust swirling in the dry air. This place looked more like a storage room than a sacred burial. Priests used to sell these cat mummies as religious tokens, making money off people's fascination. But when temple space ran out, they stuffed these mummies into any tomb they could find. And here's something more weird. Some of these mummies were just empty wraps. No bones, no cats. Was it a scam or just a cheap offering? Either way, it's clear. Desert secrets are only getting stranger. Mummified puppy. In the Egyptian catacombs, archaeologists discovered not one, but millions of mummified remains. And guess what? These weren't just any animals. They were offerings to Anubis, the jackal-headed god of death. In this massive catacomb in Saqqara, nearly 8 million mummified dogs, jackals, and other animals were found. The place was a true canine cemetery, stretching 568 feet with narrow corridors filled with tiny mummies. While many of the remains have disappeared or were destroyed by grave robbers, the sheer scale of the burial site suggests these pups were bred for the god. A dog lover's dream or a ritual gone to extremes. China's great discovery. Isn't it great to discover a hidden treasure right in the middle of a desert? That's exactly what happened in China's Mu'us Desert, where researchers uncovered a nearly perfectly preserved fort from the Ming dynasty. Located just 10 kilometers from the Great Wall, Qingping Bao Fort dates back to the 1400s. What makes this find so incredible is that the desert quickly buried it after abandonment, keeping it untouched for centuries. Standing about 600 meters long and 300 meters wide, the fort's relics, like painted clay figurines, incense burners, and weapons, tells us how people in the past used to live. Egypt in America. Now, you guys won't believe what some archaeologists discovered in America. While exploring a cave in Utah, they came across a box that looked oddly well preserved. Curious, they opened it, and guess what they found inside? An Egyptian mummy. And not just any mummy. This one was beautifully tied and ornately wrapped, leading researchers to believe it could belong to an Egyptian queen. But here's something more surprising. How in the world did an Egyptian mummy end up in a cave in Utah? Did Egyptians once live in America? Now that's a mystery worth diving into. frozen horse. Archaeologists in Pompeii thought they'd find more ancient pottery or ruins, but instead they found a saddled horse, frozen mid-escape, like it's waiting for someone to yell, "Go!" This wasn't just any horse either. It was decked out with fancy military gear, probably ready to rescue someone important when Vesuvius decided to rain fire on everyone's plans. It's practically a prehistoric parking lot, with 2 other horses found alongside, all geared up for an escape that never happened. It's like the ultimate ghost ride, but from ancient times, complete with bronze bling and a big dose of sad timing. Stucky mummified dog.
The rear end of Stucky here.
Meet Stucky, a dog you can only meet in the afterlife. His strange journey started back in 1980 when some loggers in Georgia were cutting down a chestnut oak and discovered something bizarre. They found the mummified remains of a dog stuck 28 feet up in the tree. It was moved to a museum, but no one knew what had really happened until 2021. Experts finally revealed the shocking truth. Stucky had been chasing a raccoon when he got stuck in the tree. The hollow trunk acted like a chimney, hiding his scent, and the tannic acid from the oak preserved him, freezing him in time. Crazy, right? But wait till you hear the next story. Roman swords. In an incredible discovery near the Sea of Salt, archaeologists uncovered 4 Roman-era swords, each about 1,800 years old. Even after so many years, these swords are surprisingly well preserved, much to the excitement of the Israel Antiquities Authority. Researchers believe these swords were taken by Jewish rebels during the Bar Kokhba revolt against the Roman Empire. After the failed rebellion, the Jews faced brutal persecution. And guys, guess what? The swords were found completely by chance. The archaeologists had originally visited the cave to photograph an ancient Hebrew inscription, but when they stumbled upon the swords, they couldn't believe their luck. Finding 1 sword is rare, but 4? Well, it's a dream, they said. Vampire skeletons. You might be shocked to learn that the idea of vampires isn't as new as we think, and they might have existed. Yep, scientists in Bulgaria made a chilling discovery during excavations when they uncovered several 700-year-old graves. Inside these graves, they found rods placed through the remains. According to folklore, only vampires were treated this way, as it was believed to stop them from rising again. And it looks like it worked, because these odd burials are unlike any others, hinting at a past where such measures were taken seriously to keep the vampires from returning. Roman-era statue.
Buddha has been discovered in Egypt. This discovery suggests that India had ties with Egypt.
In a surprising discovery in Egypt, archaeologists found a statue of Buddha in the ancient seaport of Berenice, telling us about the trade connections between Egypt and India during the Roman era. A Polish-US team recently uncovered a 28-inch statue of Buddha at an ancient temple in Berenice, Egypt, dating back to Roman times. The statue shows Buddha with a halo around his head and a lotus flower next to him, though part of its right side is missing. This discovery is all about Berenice's importance as a busy port where ships from India once brought spices, textiles, and ivory. It also shows the ancient trade connections between Egypt and India, telling us how important Egypt was as a hub for commerce in the ancient world. Stunning Egyptian discovery.
We found one of the most beautiful tombs here. We call it Ni Hisud Ba.
In an incredible discovery, archaeologists in Egypt have discovered 2 embalming workshops and 2 ancient tombs in the Saqqara necropolis, just south of Cairo. This area, once part of the great Egyptian capital Memphis, is known for its pyramids and sacred animal graves. The workshops reveal how Egyptians mummified both humans and sacred animals. Inside, researchers found stone beds, special gutters for the mummification process, and clay pots for storing organs. Even more astonishing, 2 priest tombs reveal how much ancient people were fond of stunning carvings and alabaster statues.
Inside the tomb, We found all the daily life scenes, like harvest, like cultivating.
Alien fetus.
When you hold this creature in your hands, you know that you have a real mystery here.
In 2007, a small city in central Mexico was rocked by a mysterious discovery. A strange creature, no bigger than 19 inches, was found trapped in a bear trap. It was pale, with a long tail and large glowing eyes that seemed to pierce the darkness. Experts were stumped. No one could identify its DNA or figure out what species it belonged to. Some skeptics claimed it was a hoax, while others argued that it could be proof of extraterrestrial life. To this day, the creature's origin remains a mystery, leaving the world to wonder if we're not alone after all.
It's a very strange specimen. It has human characteristics.
2,600-year-old discovery. In 2000, a remarkable discovery was made in Pakistan. A 2,600-year-old mummy, covered in gold ornaments, was found in a home in Quetta. The mummy, wrapped in brown and gold wax cloth, appeared to be an Egyptian princess, though her identity remains uncertain. According to researchers, she was only 18 when she passed away. The writing on her coffin also leaves so much to be questioned. Her origins are unclear, and the most puzzling mystery is how she ended up in a powerful tribal chief's home in the remote Baluchistan province, bordering Afghanistan and Iran. Siberian jackpot. Some gold miners in Siberia had a once-in-a-lifetime discovery in August 2024. In Russia's Sakha Republic, some diggers made a creepy discovery that left them speechless. A mummified animal frozen in the ground. When they took a closer look, they realized it was an ancient, woolly rhinoceros. Even more unbelievable, its horns and some soft tissue were still there, perfectly preserved. This rare find was a huge deal for scientists, as it's not every day they get to study an Ice Age creature with so many details intact. Now that's a rare discovery, giving researchers clues about what life was like back in those icy times. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. In Thailand, there's a giant petrified snake that will make you think twice about visiting. After seeing this footage, I'm not so sure I'd want to go there either. It's pretty creepy, right? Let me share the details. It's actually a cave called Naga Cave, or Snake Cave, located in Bueng Kan province. The cave itself has the shape of an enormous snake, almost like someone spent their entire life carving it. It's a popular tourist spot, with some visitors believing it's the remains of a giant snake, while others insist it's man-made, which seems hard to believe. Scientists say it could be caused by thermal expansion and soil erosion, but honestly, I think there's something far darker at play here. This might just be the remains of a giant snake. Comment down your opinion on this, guys. See you later.